Hey, this is Byron from Presslock. We've got the PLT-Thor letter here. So for doing channel letters, it's a desktop machine. So you want to make a nice rigid table, something like this. You'll notice that the throat on this guy is a little over 6.5, almost 6 5/8. The stem is a little over 6 inches, so about 6 1/8 or so. The gap between the tooling is just a little under 5, so 4 7/8. So that lets you get your letter in, get your work done. We've got an adjustable table, so you loosen these switches. This can slide up and then lock in place. Needs a little bit more tightening than that. A lot more tightening than that. There we go. Okay. So it's a split collar there, no problem. You loosen it and we can get it down to the bottom. You pull the switch out and find a good place for you to tighten, lock it in. Okay, there we go. So this is your lower tooling. There's an adjustment at the bottom. If you want to squeeze a little more, there's a lock nut and then the drive nut. The drive nut is what will increase, it's a bolt actually, will increase the squeeze by raising this up, or lowering it will reduce the squeeze. You want the right squeeze to get the best connection with the longest tooling life. The tool is just pressed in there. It's got a set screw at the front. You loosen that set screw, this will come out and you can replace this or maintain it or whatever you need. We have two pedals on the floor here. We have the left hand, which is your raise lower. So if we press that, it's detented. Tool comes down to the closed position. You press it again. Tool goes up to the up position. When it comes down, it'll actually make contact with your letter, but you can raise and lower this as needed. And then when you press your first clinch, hold down, the tool will pop up. Now you have an opening. This opening is going to be just a little bit over 5 millimeters here, so good enough for you to get your material in and move from location to location. That distance there is a finger safe option, so not option, feature. So if your fingers are in the way, you shouldn't be able to clinch them when you've got your letter in there. That gap is adjusted by this cylinder here. This lock nut holds that adjustment in place. When you loosen this nut and turn this cylinder, you can lower or raise in it this position. It has to be in this down position for you to make that adjustment, or at least check it. So behind here is a couple of cylinders that raise and lower the tooling when you hit the pedal. It already comes from the factory preset for doing the material. It has a pressure switch to make sure that the machine completes the cycle. So when we put this in here, we're just going to hit the pedal. There we've made nice clinches and some 040 pre-painted aluminum. Maybe we're hitting it a little harder than we need to, so we would go back and adjust that down, but it's a good strong clinch there. If you go around to the back here, we have a pneumatic airline going in, so it comes with its shutoff. We turn that in, we push that, and we can lock this out if somebody wants to do some service. If you want to make sure that nobody adjusts the pneumatic setting, this regulator has a locking position with that spilled out. If you need to adjust it, lift and then turn. The regulator gauge is at the back. We also have a filter bowl and a filter. So that is what you want to check that if you got a lot of humid air, you want to make sure that you're draining this every day. If you don't have a dryer on your system, and if it's got some dirt going through, you'll want to clean that filter out a little bit more regularly. We don't really want that to get into the system. We have some valves at the back. Here we have the adjustment. This adjustment here is probably the only thing you'll ever really have to adjust. If you tighten this, it will increase the pressure that is required before everything lets go of the clinch. If you decrease it, you'll reduce the pressure before it lets go. The problem with reducing the pressure too much is we won't make a good clinch. So you want to find the right place where that'll make a good clinch, but make the machine operate briskly. So that's really the only thing that you should ever have to adjust on this. The punch and die are very easy to maintain and replace. We have a set screw in the side here. So when we take that set screw out, of course I don't have that Allen wrench ready. If we take that Allen wrench, this is a 3 millimeter Allen wrench. When we loosen this guy up, We make sure that he stays within the surface. Then if we step on the pedal here, oh yeah, turn the air off. That helps. Now we've got the tool here. You take a 4mm Allen wrench and there's a bolt. We can pull that off and then this punch comes out, replace the punch, put a new one in. You'll see there are some steel shims in here that just helps us adjust the pressure on this urethane. This urethane may need replacing over time or may need a little bit more pressure. You can put another washer, just a 10mm 3/8 washer. We bring this guy down and he's easy to put in. Again with the 3mm. All right. Same 3mm Allen wrench is not what you use there. He used the 2.5mm Allen wrench down here, so I got you there, didn't I? You thought it was going to be there. So this is the die. Comes with 3 die blades and a rubber band around it. The number of the die should be on it. The collar hooks around the bottom here, right? But then it won't come off, and it allows the die to spin freely. Then when you got that in, you want to make sure that set screw is nice and secure there. I'm giving it a good extra snug. We don't want that coming loose while we're working. Other than that, that's just about everything on this press. We have some cylinders, like I said earlier, a lock that slides in, and then high power that does the work. And hopefully you get lots of production out of this machine. Thank you.